Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 506. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Monday, October the 26th, 2020.
Can't believe October is almost over. That's crazy.
Yes, this is the last time we'll be recording an episode in October. So if you are in the US, next week is the election. Go out and vote. Whatever you vote, just go out and vote.
Yep. I shouldn't say crazy. It's just surprising.
Yeah.
It seems like this month has gone very fast.
This whole year has been like a time warp. You never, like, it drags and it whizzes by at the same time somehow.
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
This is not a podcast about the time-space continuum.
It's not. If it was, Neil deGrasse Tyson would be here, and that would be exciting.
That would be cool. I would be down with that. But no, this is actually a podcast about primarily knitting. So what are you working on?
I have been mainly working on a sweater. So I picked up Ursa Minor on Saturday, and I have it down below the see, that's the V-neck front, and it's around 2 inches below the underarm. So I have to kind of start thinking about what length of a cropped sweater do I want.
Yeah.
So what works best for me? Some modifications that I made. I know that for me on raglans, like this measurement right here, like 9.5 is my ideal. Otherwise, I get like droopy underarms. So I actually divided for the sleeves. I changed my increase rate so that I was increasing for the body on every row, because for the Ursas, you're actually supposed to have 1 inch negative ease on your sleeves, but like 2 to 6 inches of positive ease on the body. So I changed my rate of increase. My sleeves are still like probably 1 inch positive ease. I think she says it's the ease on the sleeve should be like -1 to +1. So I'm still within that range. But yeah, so I changed my increase rate so that I increased a little bit faster on the body, like every row for the last 6 rows versus every other row. And then the other thing that I did is she has you cast on 1 stitch on the underarm, and I like a little bit more room in my underarm. So I cast on 3, and there's this textured stitch that it's like in every other row. What is that called? Like
broken rib or something?
Yeah, a broken rib. So it was happening in 2 places. So I just made it happen in 3. Because I like odd numbers in my knitting anyways.
You do.
So I cast on 3 stitches for the underarm instead of 2, so that I could continue another piece of that broken rib. And I'm knitting this out of Barocco Vintage Chunky. It's a little bit loose on these size 11 needles, and I'm still not really getting gauge. My gauge is 12 stitches equals 4 inches, and I think the pattern calls for 11.5. So I'm pretty close. So I added a couple extra stitches in the body for that as well. When I was doing my increases, I added like 4 extra stitches so I would get like that inch back that I lost. Also, I know that's not correct math, but it's
I
around
was
there.
trying to do it in my head, and I was like, I must be wrong.
No. Like, so 12 stitches is 4 inches. So
you're
3
losing a half an inch, right? Over 4 inches.
Yes.
And
no,
how big
I'm
is your
losing
bust?
half a stitch.
Okay.
Over 4.
And
so
how big around is the like finished bust?
50.
And how many stitches is that?
50 times, hold on. Oh my gosh, all this math. So 50 divided by 4 is 12.5 times 11.5. So
Wait,
there
why are
should
we
be...
dividing 50 by 12?
No, we didn't divide. Did I say 50 by 12? 50 by 4. No, 50 by 12 would tell me how many stitches.
You know
Hold on.
what? Let's forget this. Let's just move on.
There's so much math.
This is going to end terribly.
So 12 stitches is equaling 4 inches. So
But the pattern calls for
11.5.
okay, so you're getting an extra half a stitch for every 4 inches, right?
Yes,
Because
so it's
you're getting
smaller.
12,
It's smaller by half a stitch.
right? So, all right, hang on. I'm going to try to do this. And so it should be 12 stitches. No, it should be 11 and a half for 4 inches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Divided by 4, it's 12 and a half. So times, well, that math doesn't work. Roughly 144 stitches around.
I don't
If
have
you
the pattern in front of me, otherwise I would tell you.
use her numbers, times 12. So it's a difference of about 6 stitches. So
Yeah.
about 2 inches.
Yeah. And with the extra 3 on each underarm, that's 6 stitches right there.
Yeah.
So I might have made it a little bit bigger, but the 50, I have a 48-inch bust, so it calls 2 to 6 inches of ease. So I'll be within the ease. It'll be fine. I'm going to also layer it over either a dress or a tunic top. So there'll be that to factor into ease as well.
It will be the size that it will be.
It'll be fun. Um, it's weird knitting on size 11s, though. I can't tell you the last time I knit on size 11s. For you, it'd be like knitting on size 19s or something.
It's funny because I'll talk about it to me, but there was a swatch that I did that's going to require redoing because of needles.
Oh, I knit on other stuff.
I
Besides
imagined that you did.
this.
That's why I didn't get started with my long tirade.
I also knit on a pair of socks. And these are, I didn't even put these in the show notes. I need to do that. These are I Ain't Afraid of No Ghost by Kirby Werby. I crinked them and then dropped down and knit the ribbing. And so what I do when I lay out my sock blanks, I try to crank them to the same number of stitches, but then you also have to make sure that they're matched up directionality wise. And I put a safety pin marker on both of the same color to where I rip back for the cuff. And then, and on this one I did it to light blue because no one has time to pick up stitches in black.
Life is too short.
Life is too short. And then on the other side, I do see I've got the gold stitch markers there. That's going to be for the toe. So that way I can make sure directionality wise that I'm not like doing the wrong thing at the wrong place too.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, right. And when you rip back and you put in these stitch markers, you can just rip and then it'll catch on that stitch. Like you can't rip past that stitch because it'll catch there. So
That's
you can
smart.
be like doing other things and not paying attention. And then it actually stops at that point. There's no going any further. So I have these 2 sock blanks and I'm going to use some Plucky, this purple, that dark purple,
Yeah.
to put in the heels. And maybe I'll get them done by Halloween. Maybe I won't. It depends on how absorbed by the sweater I am. And this is in my, you can't see on that side, my Whimsy Stitches Halloween bag that I had him make for me. Leslie told me I have to keep my face in the screen because it messes up the sound for some reason if it's not. So I'm like prairie dogging him. And I'm trying to remember. It's really hard. And then the last thing. So I didn't knit on the RBG, the Descent Cal at all. And I didn't really knit on my test knit. I'm going to work on that tonight, maybe. My wee little test knit for the grain chat. It's so cute, though. Anyway, I didn't knit on either of those, so I need to work on some of those. But I did knit a little swatch. My little swatch.
What is it out of?
It's out of silky wool. It's gonna be for the.
That's what I thought it was when I saw it.
It's gonna be for the Rift sweater, and
I
knit it on size 7s, and I think I got gauge. I need to wash it still, but I am half a stitch off pre-washing, so I'm hoping that it will wash. But it also has a silk content, so it's gonna have lots of drape. So, and I do not want to go up a larger needle size than this. So regardless, I'm going to be basing my measurements off of the swatch. Because if I go up one more, it's going to be like complete, like you can already see through it.
Yeah.
It's going to be just.
It'll be too
open.
Holy, yeah, drapey. Yeah. So on the flip side of that, I also swatched for Rift.
Yeah,
finally washed the swatch.
Uh-huh.
And the pattern calls for 16 stitches over 4 inches, so 4 stitches to the inch. And after blocking, and I went up to a size 8 needle.
It calls for an 8.
No, it calls for a 7, I thought.
No, it calls for an 8.
Oh.
Because I went down a needle size.
Really? I could swear I went up a needle size.
I mean, I could be making stuff up, but I'm pretty sure
you do that often, to be fair.
I am fake news.
Yeah, it does say an 8. I'm going to have to go up because
I got something right.
You did. I am getting 5.5 stitches to the inch with Wisconsin Woolen Spun by Susan B. Anderson's company, the Barrett Wool.
But you always have to go up like 2 needle sizes. So you actually went down a needle size.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went down a needle size. So you usually would have to knit on a 9, yeah.
So yeah, I'll have to re-swatch. I'll probably just rip this out and re-knit it because I'm not going to be able to, this isn't going to be accurate for my swatch anyway. So I'll probably
How do you like the feel of that? It looks pretty dense.
It is pretty dense, but apparently it's not supposed to be knit at that gauge anyway. It's a it's a sport weight. So
are we gonna have a rift race?
A rift off. We have rift off. I don't know.
I have to figure out the length of my Ursa minor to make sure, because Rift is also cropped, but it's bottom up. It's a set. It's not set in sleeves. It's like boxy shaped. What's that called?
Drop shoulder.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'll have to re-swatch for sure because this doesn't work for me. My gauge is tight. It always is. So that's one thing. I am also working on assembling my dumpster fire ornament. This is an awesome pattern that Kino Knits just put out.
Yeah, I think she just donated like $1,500 to a local food bank.
That is amazing.
I know.
Something good is coming from this year.
Yeah, and also like someone on my Instagram live the other night, was mentioning like she's not going to have trick-or-treaters at her house, so she's using that money that she usually spends on candy and donating it to her local food bank.
It's a good
And
idea.
I thought that was amazing.
Yeah. People can sometimes surprise you by being decent human beings.
I like to think that most people are decent human beings.
I like to think that, but I'm frequently proven wrong. So, anyhow, this is the Dumpster Fire 2020 ornament by Kino Knits. She also includes a chart if you want to change the year. All the little pieces are knit individually, and then the year is duplicate stitched on. I haven't duplicate stitched that on yet because I, for some reason, thought that happened after the assembly, even though that makes no sense. So I need to do that. So that's my little tiny dumpster.
Aw, did you rip it out or fix what was wrong with your tiny dumpster?
Yeah, I fixed it. I just ripped out that little bit and fixed it.
Good.
So here are my assembled flames.
Your
3
little
different
flames. Aw.
colors on each one. I can get that. There we go. So 3 different little sets of flames.
It's very three-dimensional.
Yeah. I think that once I get this assembled and put in here, I'll probably back it with a piece of felt or something. At least the flames from the back of the dumpster up to the flames, just to give it a little stiffness so they don't kind of droop over.
I mean, you don't want droopy flames.
Nobody likes a droopy flame.
Nope.
As my mama always said, nobody likes a droopy flame.
You could also do like spray starch. I know that's common in those like snowflake ornaments that people knit.
Yeah, the crochet ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, so on the weekends I go over to Laura's usually on a Saturday, and we socially distance.
Yeah.
But we watch Bake Off and sometimes Drag Race stuff.
We can stay around 20 feet apart when we're at my house, but if we were recording together, we would be side by side.
Yeah, and that's very. We don't have the space for that to make that. But anyway, so I was at Laura's house on Saturday watching Bake Off, and I crocheted my last square for the Granny Square blanket. At which time Laura told me, "Thank God," because she's sick of it.
That is true. That's
Little
a
did she
very
know.
accurate statement. Oh no!
No, I didn't run out or anything, but I'm not done. Like I'm not. There's still weeks of work before I approach done.
Yeah.
So, what I did was I created a spreadsheet. Nothing sexier than a spreadsheet, and I copied the layout that the designer had and substituted her color numbers for my color numbers, and then printed it out. And it's 24 squares by 28 squares. And so I grouped them into like groups of 4x4 with the color numbers. And each 4x4 block, there will be 35 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, this is one. This is block number 1.
And there's going to be 35 of these?
Yes. And this is block number 2.
And it's an odd number. Why is that?
Because it's 7 across by 5 down. Because each one contains a group of 4.
Gotcha.
So
that's 2 out of 35.
2 out of 35. They don't take a terribly long time to seam. I'm just using a mattress stitch between the squares. I could do it a lot faster if I wanted to just slip stitch them together with crochet.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do that. But they don't take a lot of time to do. But the way that I hold my seaming needle, it puts a lot of pressure on one part of my finger, so I can only do it for a couple hours at a time, which is fine because that gets me most of a big square like this done. So hopefully it won't hurt that I'm still working on this, but
thank goodness.
So there's that, and then I cast on one new thing this week, and that is Celadon. So I've done this before. out of a neighborhood fiber kit that I bought at Maryland Sheep and Wool years back.
I still have mine for that, but I used the second one for my bounce blanket.
Yeah. So this one I'm doing sort of a remix on this. Instead of doing the big color blocks at the center, I'm just striping it. So I've got this kit that I've had for
So
almost
you
since
wanted the shape, not necessarily the color block.
right. So I've got this kit that I've had probably since the year I started knitting. This is Wonderland Yarns. It's the Mad Hatter kit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got, sorry for the noise, it's got these shades of purple and red. And I needed a solid color because the one that I ended up getting later with the intention to match it to that really didn't match. So when I ordered the dumpster fire kit from Leading Men Fiber Arts, I also ordered some DK weight to do this with. And this is Leading Men Fiber Art, and I got the Heathers colorway, which is sort of a grayish purple with pops of some other colors in it.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And it works well with these colors. So this is going to be for my nurse practitioner who I've gone to for like 15 years. Really like her. And especially during COVID, she's been very accommodating and helpful. So I'm just started.
You're at the thong stage of a
I'm at the
shawl.
thong stage of these shape of shawls. Although it would need to be significantly larger to be a Leslie sized one. But
whatever.
But yeah, I'm enjoying knitting it. I have changed the way that the stitches slip at the beginning just because I prefer a different way than what the pattern calls for. But I'm already
you've
modifying.
changed everything about that pattern, but
the shape. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
But I'm giving credit where credit is due. I'm definitely using her pattern. It's Amba O'Brien who designed Celadon.
And what size needles are you using?
9s, I think, or 8s. Let's see. 8s. Yeah. With DK weight. But I wanted it to be drapey. I think I went up 2 needle sizes. I'm not sure. But I wanted it to be relatively drapey. And it's garter stitch too. So once it blocks, it'll grow significantly.
I was just thinking I might put this, the body of this on holders and do the sleeves. And then have you bring over your Ursa when you come for a visit so I can try it on to see how long it is.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all I've got that I can think of.
You have a ton of finished objects, though. You finished all those little squares.
I did. I finished 68 of those little suckers this week.
If you were here in person, I would find glitter confetti and throw it at you.
There are so many people that, like, I want to send them, like, a glitter bomb because I
That's
love
really
them.
mean.
No, but that's the thing. Like, I want to send them a glitter bomb because I love them. And I think they're fabulous, but also I love them and I don't want them to have to clean up a glitter bomb or for them to murder me because I sent them a glitter bomb.
Yeah. My thing that I've been sending people that I adore are little pinatagrams.
Yeah.
So is a little bit easier on the cleanup, and they're like $25 with shipping.
Yeah.
And they don't come packaged. They come in like a clear bag.
That is odd.
They're not in a box. So like they just go through the postal service in a clear bag. My fleece is still missing, speaking of the postal service, by the way. I know, I just emailed the lady today. I don't know. It's not like the sheep can grow me another one.
Not this year, my friend.
Anyway, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Hopefully it'll turn up. I have faith in the U.S. Post Office.
I do too. They're overworked, and it's a shame that a lot of the frustration gets taken out on the drivers and delivery personnel when they have no say in the decisions that are being made. We support you,
Yeah.
USPS. We're sorry you're getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah. It's been happening pretty frequently with my packages that they're marking them as like I marked them like I told them not to deliver them because they're behind on their quotas. And I was reading a Washington Post article about it. And it's just really sad because they put so much pressure on them.
Yeah, and it's all about money.
I
It's
would
all
rather
about
than not be marked as anything, like just deliver them the next day. But yeah,
yeah.
I understand. Anyway, hey,
Go out and vote. Vote next week.
yes, I finished something. Look, I did a
Really?
crap job on the show notes.
You
I had
did,
to
because it
fix
doesn't say
some.
anything about you finishing anything.
I know, I finished my Pumpkinhead socks.
Oh, yeah.
So these are oh, look, that's my face. It might be too late.
There's your face.
These are Yarn
There's
Pirate.
Laura.
These are Yarn Pirate Pumpkin Head colorway from like 2008. She's no longer dying. That I cranked and did uh, ribbing, heels, toes, and now I have new Halloween socks.
Yay.
Yay! So I have at least one new pair. I'd like to get more, but that means I have to put down the sweater, and I'm actually feeling the sweater mojo.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I have new socks. So I have those finished. I do need to update the show notes. And then I have spinning, but you also have spinning. You talk about your spinning while I update the show notes. How about that?
I don't have a ton of spinning, but I'm on call. So this weekend I had a couple of several hour long calls. And the way that my desk is set up, knitting like a sock or something is practical, but anything larger that like drapes, it's impractical to really knit a sock. And I had finished the squares, which is what I had been sort of working on at my desk as I had time, because they only take like 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But since I finished those, I started spinning. Well, not started, I continued to work on some Hip Strings warm woolen mittens. So I've got 2 bags. Each bag is 4 ounces. And it's a beautiful, I've got warm woolen mittens too. So the base wool is darker in this one, but it's got a beautiful bunch of colors. It's kind of like ribbon candy-ish.
I just recommended that fiber to someone who's learning how to spin.
Oh,
It's like a
cool.
good beginner fiber.
Yeah, this is Cordale.
Mm-hmm.
And this is roving. So it will draft a little easier. And I'm spinning this on my Daedalus Starling. I just unplugged it because I didn't want to take the bobbin off.
Yeah.
So
We should get you a battery pack for yours. I really like my battery pack. I use it all the time.
yeah, I'm not attempting to do anything special. I just wanted to get some spinning done. I really want to be spinning thick, but this was already on the bobbin, and I was like, I'm gonna spin this first, or I'll never finish it. So, not because I don't like it, but just because spinning thicker, I get results a lot faster.
Yeah.
So, and then also the pedal to start and stop it was on the floor, and I walked away and came back, and Neelix had stuff that
Yeah.
I had wrapped the thing
That
around the trunk,
happened with me before.
and so the bit of fiber that was between the part that I had tensioned and the bag was like elastic. It was so
Yeah.
like over twisted. So I just had to throw it away. I mean, it was only like a yard,
Yeah.
um, but yeah. So I've spun a little bit on this. Not a ton of time this week, but it's the only spinning I've had in months. So
If you ever have a power outage and you don't leave your spinner on neutral, it will also start when the power comes back on.
good to know.
I had that happen. Because usually I always leave my devices on neutral if Pearl can get to like the foot pedal or whatever. But she could not on that one. So good, the more you know, right?
Yeah, the more you know.
Always leave your devices on neutral. I also did some spinning.
No way.
Yeah, just a smidge. I need to really be spinning on nest fiber if I'm going to be part of her spin along this month. Like, I haven't even really started, but it is what it is. This is Dirty Chai. It was a set of 4 bats from Work Made. I don't know that she's producing fiber right now. I couldn't find anything, but yeah. So this is the first half. It is merino, tessa silk, cultivated silk, soy silk, firestar, and angelina. So lots of sparkle and lots of shine. So there's my face. It's gonna be a fun one. It's very Halloween colors.
I dig
So
it. I
yeah, I
wouldn't
want to
even
get this
describe
play.
it as Halloween, but I dig it. I like.
It's like a lot of white and gold and orange and black.
It's almost punk-ish to me, but I
Okay.
dig it. I like it.
I like it as well. Also, something is happening outside my house, y'all. Sorry.
People are existing.
I don't even know where she is, but she's barking. There was a cat on the fence the other day. Ooh,
Oh my
in the
goodness.
back. A big old white cat. And it was not a possum. I double checked. Because Pearl also likes to chase possums. But yeah, maybe I'll spin tonight. I don't know. I'll have to think about it.
Do you
There are
have more
things.
stuff to ply?
No, I'm out of stuff to apply. So this, when I finish this, this will put me at around a pound for this month. And then I also need to finish that nest, which I've done like 4 grams of.
Oh,
If I want to get that in for her spin along.
prize drawing or whatever.
Yeah, but it's not like the worst thing in the world if I don't.
Yeah.
But it is on I'm looking off to the distance because my Starling is sitting on my chair right now because I had to rearrange things yesterday because I took a class with the designer of the Ursa sweater, Jackie,
Mhm.
and she's super sweet. I took what was the name of that class? Knitting
Knitting
math
math for
for curves,
curves.
I think. Yeah. Let me double check. And it was a really, really good class. But also, when I originally scheduled the class, the Steelers were on a bye. And then because Tennessee Titans had COVID, they
So
took,
for people who don't speak football, that means they had the week off.
yes, but they rescheduled the Tennessee game. And I actually got it on TV. So I took the class on Zoom and I had the TV muted so I
Hmm.
could see what was going on if like big plays were happening. So instead of sitting where I am now, where I usually do 100% of my Zooms,
Yeah.
I moved my laptop to where I spin and put it on my spinning table so that I could peek out into the distance
Yeah.
and watch football a little bit. But it was a really, really good class. I learned a lot about measurements, but also looking at schematics and circling each of your individual measurements, and they're going to vary across all the different. And I don't know why that
Yeah.
never even thought about it. It's a 2 hour class. I think it was like $55, maybe 50,
Hmm.
and well worth it. I learned a lot. So a lot about bust starts, especially.
Mm.
So yeah, and a lot of like formulas that she gave us in the worksheets that I think will be super helpful in the future.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, highly recommend it. What have you been up to? What have you been reading? What have you been watching?
Um, well, like I said, I've been on call, so I haven't had a ton of time, but I'm still rereading the Alice Worth series. I took a break on that and started rereading the Slouch Witch series. And that's the one where I think it's because we talked about it last week, maybe, and it was on the top of my mind. And that's the one where magic is part of it's a adult male female fantasy paranormal fantasy, um, and the main character is a girl who's super smart, out of like the witch academy, for cheating, even though she didn't cheat. Somebody, she got blamed, whatever. But anyway, she taught her cat to talk.
Nice. I mean, I would love a talk. That would be like dangerous though. Like
Yeah,
my cat would not be, I don't know.
it's most of what the cat says in the book, 99% of it is pet me, feed me, or he calls her an expletive. Um, he very rarely says anything else, but he understands. But it's funny. It's very like low stress, and that's kind of what I need. Re-listen to the Hidden Legacy series. I finished the
All of them?
third. I finished
Wow.
the third one yesterday. Um, I'm skipping the one about the wedding.
I like that one. It's a good intro
Where like they
to the
lose the
changing,
tiara.
yeah, the
Yeah,
changing
it is a
family
good intro,
dynamics.
but I just don't care. So
I
the
think I
next
have
one, I
that
think
one on Audible too.
I think Emerald Blaze might be the next one. So yeah, but I'm also going. I'm several episodes behind on Nicole Byers' podcasts, Best Friends, and Why Won't You Date Me? So I'm going to listen to a couple of those as well. What about you?
I actually read books this week.
Like
So I know, right? Like it's my
for
job.
work?
Yeah, for work.
Okay.
Like it's my job. So I'm still listening to Alana Andrews' White Hot, but I can only listen to that with headphones at work because that's
Oh,
adult, male, female, paranormal romance, and there's some language in there. So, but in my downtime at work, because I have a book fair right now, so
oh
I'm
yeah.
not doing deliveries this week because kids are coming through to the book fair, and sometimes I have like 5 to 10 minutes in between. Um, and I should be using that time to like shelf books and such, but that's not what's happening. Instead, I'm reading.
Yeah.
So I read Ways to Make
Mental health
Sun.
is important.
It is. And like reading for 15 minutes supposedly lowers your anxiety and stress by like
Mhm.
a supreme amount. So I've been needing that this week and last week and the week before that. Um, so I've been reading Ways to Make Sunshine by Renee Watson. I picked this up over the summer and got like a chapter in and totally stalled on it. So I picked it back up because I love Renee Watson. I've read her YA stuff and really, really enjoyed it. It's unusual for me to read more than one book by an author in my life, just because there's so many good authors, but I've read several books by her.
Are we
She's
talking YA? Not like,
she's YA, but this is her first middle grade. Yeah,
but
we're
I mean,
talking about YA.
yeah, being unusual for you to have read more than one book by an author.
Yes, definitely. Talking about YA middle grade or like multiple books in a series just
Hmm.
because there's so much stuff. And this was getting a lot of buzz as being compared to like Beverly Cleary, Ramona Quimby. And I think that's because Renee Watson is a Portland, Oregon author, and Beverly Cleary is like Portland, Oregon as well. So they both have that similar setting. But I really, really love this book. It is about a girl named Ryan and her older brother by 2 years, and they're moving, and it's just everyday life for a middle grade kid. Like having to deal with moving, but it's in the same neighborhood, so same school, but getting over being afraid to talk in public, just little things, and also some very like daily life. And it's just super sweet and cute. So I really, really enjoyed that. And then I also read a book called Cinders and Sparrow, and I picked this up. It's by Stefan Bachman. I've seen some of his other stuff, like The Peculiars, and meant to read it and just didn't have time to pick it up. This is his new book, and it is middle grade fantasy. It is about a girl who's an orphan, and one day a scarecrow delivers a letter to her that tells her that she is the heir to this castle. And so she travels to the castle and she finds out that she comes from a line of witches and it's almost like necromancer type witches.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has been cursed. And so she's the last remaining one. But things are not as they seem. It's being compared to Hell's Moving Castle, and I really think that that's a pretty good analogy for this. I do love a book where it twists and what you think is reality or what the main character thinks is reality is totally not reality. I also love a narrator that's lying to you the whole time. That's not the case in this book,
Mm-hmm.
but she's being lied to,
Yeah.
and there's a twist that you don't see coming. Um, so yeah, both really good. Highly recommend if you are into those two types of books, and they're both middle grade. So that would be like 9 to 10 and up. So years old and up. So yeah, and then I watched the Pete Souza documentary on Peacock called The Way I See It, which is an hour 45 minutes. It is about Pete Souza, who was the Obama and Ronald Reagan's personal photographer,
Mm-hmm.
and takes the photographs and how that role of a photojournalist has changed in the White House over the years. But it specifically pays more attention to the Obama era, and it's really, really well done. There is a section on Sandy Hook, so prepare yourself. Um, but it's really, really well done and
Good.
very empathetic. So I enjoyed that as well. And Peacock it's free on Peacock. Like there's 2 levels of Peacock, so it's on the free streaming end of it. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. And watching football, of course. Of course. And I need to fit in some Halloween movies because it is that time of year and I'm running out of time.
I watched a scary movie. BuzzFeed put out this list of like the 10 scariest movies. And I
Uh-huh.
was like, I've seen that one. I've seen that one. I've seen that one. So there's a couple I haven't seen. One was called Hereditary, and it's got Toni Collette and Gabriel Byrne and a couple of younger actors. The whole cast is only like 6 people, but it was really weird. Like it ended, and I'm still not completely sure what happened. So, but it was also shocking and gross. So I wouldn't recommend it if that bothers you. But there's still a couple I want to see that I haven't. The Conjuring is one. Apparently that one's really really good. Uh, I think a couple of the other ones were like gory, and I don't do gory. Like I can handle a little bit, but I can't like something that's like Saw or um, something like that. I have no interest in things that are
No,
just
I
all.
can't even do the later Silence of the Lambs where he's like giving the guy a lobotomy and eating the
Yeah,
brains. Nope.
yeah. Um,
There's a new one by The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
yeah, Blind Manor.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, I haven't finished it. I got like 70% through, and it's okay. I don't love it or anything.
So Leslie does Scary Halloween, and I do Casper the Friendly Ghost, and Adam's Family, and Halloween Town, and Hocus Pocus, and Charlie Brown, and
Yeah,
Beetlejuice, and I know I'm
Laura's
missing
are like
Practical Magic.
top out at PG or PG-13.
I mean, that's pretty much my life too. I also watched the new like little Olaf short on Disney Plus, which was cute.
Mm. Um, yeah, I like psychological thrillers or horror movies. Uh, but so we want to take a minute and thank our Patreon supporters. We sincerely
Yeah,
appreciate you. Um, 2020 more than ever. It's been a ridiculous, crazy year. We
absolutely.
have got a poll out there for voting for the fail a long time, either Friday evening or Saturday early afternoon or mid-afternoon. So if you are a Patreon supporter, check your email. It should email you and ask you to vote.
And we're weaving pot holders on pot holder looms.
I'm relatively sure we'll each finish one pot holder. Relatively sure. I did this once as a child 30-something years ago, so...
I don't know. It's been some time. I have prizes for the Halloween Craft All the Things to show off.
I can't wait to see these.
They like take up this entire room. I feel like.
Slight exaggeration, but...
I don't know. It's a big box. So we have one of the Lantern Moon Project like origami bags in a very fall color. So this one you can put your ball of yarn in, and it's got these little holes, and you can feed it through.
Yeah,
and
you can access it later. You can you can open the thing and access it later.
Yep. So yeah, it's open there where you can undo the snot and access it. So that's pretty cool. That was donated by a viewer. And then I purchased some little stitch markers from TheKnitGirlls. And then I got you guys a set too.
Aww.
And the ghost glows in the dark.
For all your glow-in-the-dark knitting needs.
There could be some needs, Leslie O'Neill. And then there was also... Where did I put it? A little stitch marker set from... Oh no. I will find it. There was a stitch marker set from the lady who sent us the other stitch marker.
Velvet Hippo?
Yes, there's a stitch marker set from the Velvet Hippo. I thought I had stuck it in here. Maybe it's towards the bottom. Maybe it fell towards the bottom. And then our friend Shalonda donated some yarn, and this is a set from Color Shift Yarn.
Yes. Beautiful jewel tone
set. Gradient set. Yeah. And then she also donated Lollipop Yarn. And this one, she apologizes. She lost the tag. But because I do this all the time, Lollipop was putting her tags like on the outside for a while.
Initially,
Yeah, and they can kind of fall out. And then Hopkins Fiber Studios, Streets of Gold, and her DK base.
Yes, I like Imonisha's stuff.
Yes. And then another skein of hers in Autumn Spice.
Oh, that one's pretty too.
She's been writing a lot for Spinoff lately. And then some Fiber Nymph dye works. I know, I'm super excited for her. And Heat Waves.
Oh, that's very candy corn.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? And then a Zauber ball.
Oh, I knit a Zauber ball a while back. I liked it.
And I don't know where those stitch markers went, but maybe they're down below. And then, or maybe I brought them into this room and I put them in a safe place.
That you will find in a couple of years.
They'll be like underneath my sweater right now. I'll look in a second. And then one of our viewers contacted Hikari Handmade and purchased 4 bags to donate. So there's this first one that's like waves and sailboats. And if you've never tried her bags, they're
wonderful.
I have a couple that I really, really love.
I have mine right here. You want to see it?
Yeah. And then there's this one with the puppies.
Look.
Oh, look at the goats. And then there's this one with the flowers. And she always puts Werthers in, which makes me super happy.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was very kind of that viewer to see.
I know, right?
Well, that's beautiful.
There's this one as well. So there's 4 of them. It was very kind of that viewer and her to work together on those. And I'm going to look for these stitch markers because they are amazing. Maybe they're still out where I had. Oh, nope, they're right here. Yes.
Yay.
Found them. And she didn't seal them on purpose so that I could show y'all. So I'll seal them before I send them. I was like, I put them at a very safe place.
so safe.
Look, they were safe because I found them. It's No Tricks, Just Treats stitch marker set by the Velvet Hippo, and I like that they're
Aw,
gotta keep my head in. The
they
beads,
look like
the little beads are
pumpkins.
striped. Yeah,
Aw,
isn't that cute?
that is super cute. We know some awesome people.
We do. So we'll be pulling from both Instagram that uses the hashtag TKG Halloween CATT, and then also from Ravelry. So lots of good
And
prizes. And
to
there's
enter on Ravelry, they need to post in the craft all the things finished objects thread, right?
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm not going to lose those again. I'm putting them in that box. Anyway. So yeah, lots of cool things. And we'll pull from those on our episode that is right after November 1st. Wow, that's soon.
I thought we were going to November 15th. No, we started. It's September 15th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll either be 507 or 508, depending on when we record next.
Yep.
So just take a break from this. My hands hurt. These
Oh,
big needles.
you're so big needles. That's it for me. I got a surprise at school today. Someone bought some books off my Amazon wish list.
Aww.
And they showed up, and that was super cool. So
People
that
are
was fun.
kind.
They are kind. Way too kind. So thank you everyone again who's donated books to my school off my Amazon wish list. Y'all are so sweet.
I need to assemble my dumpster fire.
Yeah, you do. So you're working on dumpster fire for the rest of the night, you think? Or are you gonna do some crochet and then dumpster fire?
No, I'm going to try to assemble dumpster fire, and then I've got some sewing I want to do. For
Some sewing
like
of crochet blocks.
no. So Jesse, our friend Little Hip Kitty, sent me a link like a week ago, and oh shit, I've been wearing my glasses this whole time.
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, but I figured you needed them because you've probably been staring at screens all day.
I have. She sent me a link to a sashiko machine.
Oh
So
yeah.
Baby Lock apparently is the only company that I've found that makes these. They're like sewing machines, but they stitch sashiko stitches. So it's like a running stitch. Um, and I love the look. It's like a hand quilting stitch, essentially.
Yeah.
And I really love the look of it, but I'm not great at hand quilting. It takes a lot of practice, and right now I've got other crafts that I prefer to practice. So, I haven't done a lot of it, but this machine basically does everything for you. And I was like, oh, I need one of those.
Uh-huh.
So I went and looked, and they're $3,000. So I'm
So
like,
no.
maybe I don't need one of those. But I'm going to try. Apparently, there are ways to mimic that if you use a polyester monofilament thread, like a clear thread for the top on a regular sewing machine. If you use a clear thread for the needle thread, and then you use like a heavier weight for the bobbin thread, then it duplicates and then use hand quilting stitch on your sewing machine. There's ways to mimic it. So I'm going to try that out just on some scrap fabric just to see what it looks like. Because I told Jessie I would, and then I would let her know how it went. But yeah, so we'll see if that works. It might not. It might be terrible. But all I had to invest in was some monofilament clear thread and some bottom weight thread. Because on a Shiko machine, there is no needle thread. It's only the bobbin thread. And it gets pulled up, and then there's this lever thing that like loops it, and it's complicated. But you can look at yourself if you want. It's called the Baby Lock Sashiko, Sashiko. I'm not promoting it. I've never used one, but it looks really cool anyway. So yeah, I think I spent like $10 on thread that I'm going to use to try.
And you need another bobbin case, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You don't necessarily need it, but it works. It tends to work better if you have. I forget what it's called, but it's a bobbin case that, like a lower tension bobbin case.
Gotcha.
It's got a blue mark on it for those people that know what that means. It's got a blue mark on it. But anyway, Pearl is ready for you to get up on out of this business. So
I know, she's very needy. She is the boss.
there's this. So yeah, hope you guys have a great week.
Yeah.
Thank you again to our Patreon supporters. We'll see you at the VKN on Sunday.
And thank you everyone else who talks about us and shares our posts and supports us.
Or has watched us for the ridiculous 10 years that we've been doing this. So
absolutely.
You guys have a great week.
Different types of support.
Go out and vote.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
We will talk to you again next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.